Good evening, podcast world. Welcome back to another episode of Two for the Road, episode 3. I'm Aaron, and this is
Andy.
Still Andy. We're lucky, folks. We're lucky. Firstly, thank you very much for all the support in episode 1 and 2. Both of us are really grateful, aren't we?
Definitely, yeah. A lot more people have listened than we expected, so that's nice.
Yeah.
Hope you're enjoying it.
And in this third episode, there's going to be a shift in dynamic because I am absolutely knackered, tired, depressed, all over the place here tonight.
And that was the case with me. Well, I was certainly knackered for episode 2. I was absolutely shattered that day when we recorded. So, yeah, it's shifted this time.
Yeah, yes, yeah. So, tonight you'll probably hear more Andy than you'll hear me. Not a bad thing. He has a beautiful voice, I think, will it be.
It's arguably a bad thing.
But firstly, obviously, just to kind of make you guys all aware, if you are listening to this podcast or know anyone that wants to listen to the podcast, we are available on Spotify, as you know, YouTube, but we are also on Apple podcasts. We are on
I think Carrie listened to us on Deezer.
Yep.
Which I'd never heard of before Carrie said that's what she listened to podcasts on.
We're on Amazon Music, so you can ask Alexa to play Two for the Road podcast, episode 2 or episode 3, and we're on there. So obviously a number of ways for you to be able to listen to the podcast, not just on Spotify or YouTube. The other thing it was to kind of go through with you was we're going to try something. It might work, it might not work.
What we're trying?
The email, for people to email questions to us for future podcasts.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
Did we not literally speak about that less than 24 hours ago?
Yes.
And I've forgotten about it already. Yeah. Sounds about right.
If there's something you'd like to ask us and have us talk about on the podcast, drop us an email at twofortheroadpod2025@gmail.com, and I'll spell that out: TWOFORTHEROADPOD2025@gmail.com. Send us any questions or any feedback, and obviously we'll try and talk about it on the podcast. So, how was February?
Oh yeah, we're in March now, aren't we? February was alright, I have to say. Had a cracking end to February. Obviously, Neil's 40th next door on Friday night. That was really good. Got to see a lot of people I've not seen in ages. Parky's mum and dad, Neil's dad, got to sit and chat to him for a bit. Mikey's girls were there. I got to chat to their mum and their auntie that I'd not seen in years either. And it was really good. Nice. And there was wigs going about. I think there was a load of props for photos and stuff. And I think it was meant to be Thelma and Louise, but Siti had this blonde wig on, and he looked more like Jeffrey Dahmer, as his lovely wife pointed out to me. And then I put
it's quite a
Louisa.
Picture, to be
Louisa
fair.
had the other one, the kind of darker one, wig on, and then she gave it to me, and apparently I looked more like Brian May. Now I'll certainly take Brian May over Jeffrey Dahmer, so I was happy with that.
I'm surprised you didn't look like a Hanson brother or something with a blonde wig on.
Oh no, I had the dark.
Oh, did you?
Aye, it was kind of like brown curls.
Ah, okay, I get the Brian May thing then. Yeah.
I've still got it. I walked home with it on.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
So you stole a wig. It's what you're telling
pretty
me.
Much. I wouldn't be surprised if Siti went home with his as well, because he had it on like pretty much all night.
Yeah.
But it was a great night. And then of course yesterday I had a great day as well. Me and Mum went up to Dundee, did sushi this month.
That looked amazing.
That is my favourite restaurant. I've been in a lot of restaurants obviously over the years. Sushi in Dundee on, I want to say Reform Street, but that's the best one of them.
It's how colourful it was. Like when you sent me the picture.
She put extra wee like flower decoration-y things on her. She says she normally only does one, but we got 2 because we're special.
You're special.
Yeah.
Shona's especially special.
Exactly.
Yeah, she deserves that.
And it was beautiful. I normally get rainbow rolls and mixed sashimi. Mum normally gets dumplings of some sort of pork this time.
Nice.
And I think it was like a king prawn roll kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then we get a mixed seafood platter, and yeah, it was absolutely to die for. It was just so amazing.
Nice.
And then of course we had a wee wander in the shops. I got some bath bombs at the lunch.
I saw that when I was at your house yesterday.
Oh yeah.
I saw that, and you didn't tell me what it was. I just saw the Lush bag.
Yeah.
So, Wicket, the world's worst dog.
What's he done now?
Has chewed one of my work jumpers, like literally destroyed it. Has destroyed many toys that he's been given. But the key thing here is a story very similar to the one I told you in the first episode, folks. Laura and I went to go see Paul Smith in Glasgow. It was a birthday present I got for my 40th last year. It was the last one, and we went to stay the night in Glasgow as a part of the gift that I was given. And then basically Laura's brother was very kind and said that he would go stay with the dogs that night so that they were looked after.
Yeah.
And he experienced what I experience weekly at this point, where the dog will not come in. Right? Literally had him chasing him around the garden, and Callum's wife, the partner, came to the house with Burger King for them. And of course, Wicket come in after being outside for donkeys. And as Callum was sitting down to his Burger King, Wicket sat just right in front of him and maintained eye contact, and then took the biggest dump that you could. Not that he'd been outside for 40 minutes at this point or anything. And poor Callum had to clean all that up before he could have his nice, beautiful Burger King. And he says, Callum said, he's not listening to the podcasts. The first thing he said was, it's the fact he just stared at me. I was like, it's the eye contact of this, I'm going to destroy you here. He passed his obedience class. He's got a certificate, and I'm sitting there like, how? How did you pass obedience classes? Laura's like, we're going back. I'm going, why? Like,
it's the timing as well, because I remember, I think I spoke about her in episode 1, Smudge, Johnny Daly's old dog. When they first got her, when she was a puppy, when I was living with her, for some reason Smudge chose the exact moment that we'd sit down to have our dinner to take a dump somewhere in the living room. Yeah. The timing was to the T every night. We'd sit down, have our dinner, have The Simpsons on the TV, and then, Smudge, like clockwork, would have a dump on usually one of the mat things that you put down for dogs, but thankfully, at least.
Yeah. Wicket doesn't give us that courtesy. It's our disrespect with Wicket. Obviously, we'll not take too long on this, but obviously finally saw Captain America Brave New World.
So you did, yeah.
I gave it a good solid 7 out of 10, and our friend Paul gave it a 6 out of 10. After a week or so, he decided 6 was a good score for it. What we both agreed on was some of the reviews were wrong, like about Captain America being shoehorned into a Hulk movie. It's wrong. It's just as good as Thor 1, Captain America 1. It's basically one of those kind of movies where, it's good, and it's kind of establishing Sam as Captain America, which is what you want. But secondly, it's Winter Soldier with Iron Man 3 pushed together and made a good movie. So honestly, it's not as bad as probably what you're thinking, and it's actually really enjoyable to at least watch once. I went twice now. So yep. And I definitely didn't go see Ant-Man or Marvels twice. So, but what have we got coming out this month? Or is it just another shit month for movies?
I don't know. You're the one to know.
Yeah, that's true. I was going to say, I'm just going to quickly glance to find out what's actually coming out. So coming to Mickey 17. Robert Patterson's one.
Oh, that one you were talking about?
Aye, where they keep cloning him. Every time he dies, they bring him back. That actually looks quite good. Like, that might actually be, I think I'll be going to see that.
No?
Yeah, I reckon you probably even like that one. So the director of Parasite. Remember the Oscars?
Never seen that either.
You've still not seen that? Snow White comes out this month. The Disney's live action.
There's another one?
Yeah, there's another one. And this one's been made for years. It looks horrible.
Really?
It'll probably still make. Rachel Zegler. She was in the new Hunger Games. She played the younger.
I've never seen the first one of that.
And Yeah, that's it. So Snow White, which will tank because well, it looks horrible, and Mickey 17, which actually I've got a little bit of hope for. Looks fun.
I said that, eh?
Yeah, I think if you like movies like Snowpiercer and like something like Parasite, like we were talking about, the director had done, I think there's a good chance you're probably going to like it. Like stuff like Invincible on Amazon, that's graphic novels. This is apparently a graphic novel, so we'll see. It looks fun. Obviously, Robert Pattinson will bring a crowd in. Like I don't even know if Twilight fans exist as much.
Yes, we do.
Twihards, like.
Is that a thing? Is that a word?
I think so. I think Twihards is a word. If not, we're making it a word.
Fair enough. I love those films.
I think he's pretty much tried to distance himself from those films.
He really has, yeah.
He still follows them.
And it always will. I mean, same way Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, Titanic's going to follow them forever, never, never, amen.
Does it though? Does it? Because they both went on to win, starring some pretty awesome movies.
Oh, hell yeah, yeah.
I mean, I love Titanic, but I love Departed. Departed is
a great film. Leo's one of, and we've had conversations before about actors who you've never seen in a bad film.
Yeah.
I can't say that I've seen a bad Leonardo DiCaprio film. He's up there with Denzel for me. I've never seen a bad Denzel Washington film.
You've clearly never watched Critters 3.
I have not.
Yeah. You would retract your statement on Leonardo DiCaprio.
Well, if I watch a bad Leo film, I will update that statement, but I still haven't to this day.
It's like his first movie or something, but he also did one with Tobey Maguire and everything called Celebrity or something like that. He's literally banned it from being released in the States.
Aye?
Yeah, but he's got an injunction so they can't release it. But back in the day you were able to find it places, so
right.
It's a horrible movie. There's no wonder he's paid to make sure it doesn't get released. But you're right, there's not a bad Denzel movie in my mind, but there probably is. Like, we're just not aware.
There may well be, but I certainly haven't seen one.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt as well. I can't
Brad
say that
Pitt's
I've
done
seen
bad movies.
Well, I've not seen any of them.
Brad Pitt's done bad movies.
If he has, I've not seen them.
And he's got Formula 1 coming out very shortly.
Yeah, which I probably won't watch because I think I mentioned this in the first episode that we did at 9. Formula 1's never... Racing of any... I know you like horse racing and stuff, but racing of any kind's never really piqued my interest.
Yeah.
In terms of sport.
I get that. I'm more an analytical guy. I like to look at like the teams and I like to look at the stats and I like to kind of read between the lines. That's where things kind of get fun for me. Like it's not. And then there's the we know about the Grand National. Like obviously, I do my pick every year for Grand National. Let everyone know I've already done it. This
you have
5
you
weeks
sent me
early.
the photos.
Yeah,
but your picks are probably based on logic and research.
Yes.
Whereas any time I've ever bet on the Grand National, it's been because
You
I
like
like the jersey or the name, or I think the last time I bet on the Grand National, which was probably about 4 or 5 years ago, there was a female jockey on one of the horses, and she was the only female jockey in the race, so I backed her just 'cause I wanted to.
Yeah, and you know something? There's what a lot of people don't know is that there's never been a mare win the Grand National.
Really?
No. And last year, Limerick Lace, she's in it this year again, and she finished 10th. She actually jumped up to favourite at the very last minute last year. And she's a speedy, honestly, I love this horse. Like, kid you not, this
is she a lovely horse?
If I could buy a horse, it'd be Limerick Lace. She's absolutely beautiful, and she's just such a wee rocket that she's one of the ones I've recommended is Each Way Again, but I think it's just I'm blinded by this amazing horse. So it's probably best not to go with that one. The other three are solid.
It depends what kind of jersey the jockey's wearing or what the name is. What did you say the name was?
Limerick Lace. Laura actually put a bet on her last year. Yeah. But beautiful horse, and obviously the Grand National's fun. As long as you're having fun, that's the thing. And that's the thing, is that predicted to win her 5 years in a trot, so this year's obviously the year I'll get it wrong. But Yeah, I send it out to everyone just to say this is who I would go with this year, and whoever uses it uses it.
every year.
Yeah.
Although, as I say, to be fair, I've not
Polly made a
actually
load
bet
of
on
money
it
off
in
2 years ago.
years.
She put them all on and made a fucking fortune, made more money than what I did.
Nice.
So yeah.
She's just like, just let Aaron do the research, I'll just reap the rewards.
Yeah. Well, I have said that this year is obviously I've done it super early because odds are obviously higher. It could change in a heartbeat beforehand.
Yeah.
But I think they're pretty solid at this point. But we'll see.
Yes, well, it's not too far away. It's probably about
5 weeks.
Is it not on Mikey's birthday actually?
5th April.
Every time I mention Mikey's birthday, I think of when I used to work at Acorn. I had a spreadsheet on my computer of deliveries coming in and stuff that we'd ordered. And I always remember a story. I was on holiday and Phil I think he'd asked Dan when something was coming in. And he was like, I'm not sure. But has Andy not made a spreadsheet about that? So, because of course, I love a spreadsheet. And he'd opened it up on my computer when I was on holiday. And instead just heard him go, oh, for fuck's sake. Who's Mikey G and when's his birthday? Because I'd just put it down as, like, the delivery date was around about Mikey's birthday. So, if I was looking at that going, right, who's Mikey G and when's his birthday? Because apparently this is when the bearing's coming into us. But yeah.
Speaking of Stin and the Goosies, where credit's due, is we had a quiz the other night and you won. No, well, you didn't win, you came third.
Yeah.
But you beat us because we were 5th.
Yeah.
So
true.
that put us 1-1.
For a year, yeah.
Yeah, 1-1 for the year, which is earned, as far as I'm concerned, use respectfully.
I'm not sure how we did it, to be fair. I don't think we did as well as it turns out we did. The table, it was a tough one. The table behind us I think they won. They were really good. But yeah, we came third.
Yeah, and the one before that, you guys weren't at, but we actually won the whole thing.
So we did.
Yeah, which is a bit sucky that not one of your team showed up, so it didn't count.
It still counted as a win for you, just not in the Gooses v Murdogs kind of table.
So what you're saying is domestically it didn't count, but internationally it did.
If you like, yeah.
So we're playing Champions League when you're not here.
Nah, we're playing Champions League when I am here.
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
I tend not to. Lindsay would agree.
Of course.
See, told you.
Wholeheartedly.
That's Scotland's best barmaid.
Since Mum stopped working in pubs.
Yeah. But yeah, I think obviously we were surprised to win. Laura came along with her friend from work.
Another Lindsay.
Thank you for that there, because I apologise, Lindsay, I forgot your name. So yeah, Laura and Lindsay came along, and we had obviously me and Murdoch, and it was a good night, and somehow we finished 1 point ahead of everyone else, and took the prize for the quiz. But obviously 2 weeks later, you showed up, and we got our totties. We finished 5th. So, but
still a respectable showing.
Yeah, and we had Paul this time, so it was me, Murray, and Paul.
Yeah.
And the Murdogs might have Claire and Gas at some point too.
Yeah, right enough. I really hope so. I haven't seen them in ages. I think we had a fairly full team with me, Stan, Sarah and Willie.
Not at the quiz, not at the quiz. No.
What am I thinking of then?
I don't know.
Sarah and Willie were definitely...
Nope.
Oh no, right enough. I must be thinking about the last time.
Yep.
So
over a month ago.
Yeah. Is it me, Stan, Becky,
Alex
Stevie, Alex and Fraser, and Lawson? Becky's
that would make sense.
son, yeah. And we came third.
Yeah. So
we finally got Sarah the Pinkerton's hat that she's been wanting for ages.
I have 2 of them.
Sure. I don't want them because they're in baseball cap form, and I'm not a baseball cap fan.
Yeah.
But they are nice.
They are very nice.
And we're back have had a pee and I've got a fresh pint and had a wee smoke, and now we're back.
We are. So, again, we're going to talk about it because it's pretty big and it's happening everywhere. America and Donald Trump, and what happened in that Oval Room with Zelensky was just fucking horrific.
I've not seen any of it. I read about it. But
Yeah, like, oh my god, like, I don't understand what's going on. Like, just it's such a disrespect for a man that's literally fighting for his country. Going on, why is he not wearing a suit? Like,
really, was that one of the things?
like, why is he not wearing a suit when he comes to the Oval Office? And they just literally set him up. There's a recording of one of the senators, and I can't remember his name, where he was saying to Zelensky how much he was grateful for helping Ukraine, and how much that he was grateful that Ukraine had said thank you and everything. And then cut to Friday, and the same senator saying they've never thanked us, they've not done. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, how? Like,
Yeah.
it's this part of the chaos we talked about. I'm sure that in the next episode he'll have done something really, really good. I mean, the Dodge stuff's good. Like, I actually think it's a good thing to be holding government spending accountable and finding out like where your tax-paying money is going. Like,
Yeah, I mean, like I said when we were down here with Bill the other week, I think we could do with something like that in this country.
yeah, 100%. I think that is probably the most logical thing that's going on in that thing right now. That government is
Possibly the only logical thing that's
is
going on.
literally holding spending accountable with what your government's spending your tax dollars on. And I'd love to see what the UK government spend our fucking money on.
Well, we move speed humps like 20 yards down the road to justify council budgets. That's what we do.
But we'll no fix the potholes.
No, that'd be far too sensible.
Honestly, my car just cost another 50 odd quid to fix because the pothole cracked in
Well,
alley.
funnily enough, Marion was talking to that Parky's mum on Friday night. She was saying I think she took her car in to get MOT'd or whatever, and whoever was checking it over for her had said, have you hit a pothole? And she was like, yeah, several. He's like, yeah, because your tracking's all out and your alignment's all out and other car words that I know nothing about, not driving myself.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal now in terms of the roads. But yeah, you know, the new budget's coming where apparently we're going up 10% on the council tax.
Are we?
Yeah. Fucking Fife Council.
A ringing endorsement from you there.
Oh, never. Like, I don't claim to be an intelligent man. By far, I'm very mediocre, and I accept that. But there's some things that I question that we as a country and as a council like area spend our money on sometimes.
Yeah, to use one of Dad's favourite words, it's muppetry.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know something? Somebody said to me, like, I think actually you were in this conversation. We were talking about it, right? And I would never ever vote for somebody like Donald Trump. Okay, Kamala Harris was who I'd have voted for.
Yes,
I understand it. Okay, but come across here and look at what happened in the general election. Your choice was SNP, who have proven to not be able to do anything in Westminster, even with a set that was at the third biggest majority in the chamber.
Well, yeah, for a while. That's the way the UK governmental system works. They were never going to be able to.
Yeah.
Same as the Lib Dems, they've never been able to do anything either.
And so if you're voting for SNP here, not so much in the Scottish Parliament, but in the Westminster,
Yeah.
it's a pointless vote because they can't do anything. They don't have a majority. Okay, so you're then left with a choice of Conservative or Labour, which obviously that's what it came down to in this election, right?
As it does with most of them,
and people did not want Rishi, and they didn't like Keir Starmer, but they voted for him because at least it was something different for what was going on.
Yeah.
And the mandate that he put forward is not what he's doing. It's just the opposite. Yeah, we're not going to do tax rises. We're not going to do national insurance rises, and literally the first thing they do is, oh, we didn't realise it was as bad as what it is. Really?
And in fairness, though, they have took over with the last, 10, 12, 15 years, whatever, haven't been an utter shit show in terms of finances.
Yeah.
It seems to be... obviously, I don't know as much about it as other people do.
Yeah.
But it seems to be a cycle of Tories go in, siphon off as much money as possible for them and their mates, and then Labour come in and try and sort it to whatever extent they can.
See,
and then the same old cycle.
I always looked at it the other way, was that Labour come in and spend, and the Tories come in and tighten the budget up, but make sure their pals are getting rich at the same time, and then they get it back up, and then Labour come in and spend. So I was hoping for a wee bit of spending this time, but they've come in and went, oh shit, the Conservatives have done what we normally do, they've spent. And
They spent fuck all.
Well, no.
We went through austerity for years and years.
I think that's more to do with COVID than it's got to do with because paying for everyone's wages, I think, it's taken a big toll.
Well, not everyone. I was still working. You were still working, you know.
I got 2 weeks off.
I got about 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and then I was right back to work, and I was sitting there like, and I've heard people getting like 6 months to a year fully paid.
Yeah, true.
And I'm like, how? I'm going to apologise because I realise I say this a lot, and I'm and I will try to be more conscious of this during the podcast.
What, of saying like?
A lot.
Is that a word you use quite often?
It's very often.
For me, and obviously we, when we were listening to episode 2 at Graham's, we kind of established the words that I use quite often, and nice is definitely one of them. I say nice a lot.
And apparently I say love a lot.
Yeah, Graham picked that. I never noticed that, to be fair, but Graham picked up on that. And what I'd picked up on that I use quite often is the word particularly. I have a particular fondness for the word particularly. It would seem.
It's fundamentally true, indeed.
Is that one of yours?
No, I'm just thinking of college, Pat, fundamentally.
Oh, with Pat, I think paradoxically was always a favourite of Pat's.
Yeah.
That was a favourite word of his.
It was an interesting time, our college years.
Definitely, a great time.
How tall is your milkman?
Oh, that was fucking hilarious. Oh, was that Chris?
That was Chris.
That was genius.
Probably one of the biggest, holy shit moments
Yeah.
in our entire college year. We'll not go into it, but it was...
Why no?
It's
Fucking hilarious.
Pat probably cease and desist us.
Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't say it was Chris.
It's true, it was Chris, but yeah, it was, to this day, I actually was talking to somebody at work about it.
Oh, really?
And I was recent, I was like, yeah, I got sent home. We all got sent home from college that day.
Really?
Yeah, he stopped the class and everything.
I didn't remember that.
It was, it's a one of those moments.
It really was. That was fucking hilarious.
So, thinking, obviously, you had on the telly before we started your team getting put out the FA Cup. We have to talk about it. I know that you're sitting there sighing, but it wouldn't be an episode if we didn't talk about how shite Man United are doing.
Well, it does seem to be a recurring theme because we are. And yeah, we just went out the FA Cup this afternoon. We watched it down the stairs here at Pinky's, and we got penalties by Fulham. Congratulations to them, and hope they do well and all that, but fuck them. Beat my beloved United.
Oh, that's brilliant.
To be fair, Fulham as a club I've always kind of liked, but they just seem to be one of those clubs that seem like a nice club. I like it. Yeah.
Oh, that's
not,
nice.
Not the day.
Not the day.
Got right on my tits the day, but
we were briefly. We were talking. Well, I was old enough. We were talking to Bill the other week, and we were talking about how people can be anxious and people can overthink and stuff. I don't know if you remember this conversation.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we kind of went into was fact finding, and I don't think people realise how important fact finding is when your mind goes like 100 miles an hour, because Bill, Andy and myself, we know somebody that can let their mind race, and obviously something I was conscious this was something I used to do quite a bit because of what I was going through, and fact finding was huge for me because it enabled me to look outside the situation. So when you're an overthinker, one of the biggest things that you can actually do is to look at the situation and physically look at the facts that you can prove. So an example to get there is that if we're at the pub and somebody says hello to you, and or you say hello to somebody and they maybe don't say hello back, is a case of, they don't like you, which a lot of people, oh shit, they don't like me, and then it's a case of fact finding. So I said hello, they didn't say hello back, that's true. Have they said they don't like you? If they have said you don't like you, then that would be a fact, but they've not. Is there a chance that they didn't hear you? You're in a pub, it's loud.
A lot of background noise.
A lot of background noise.
People can hear right now.
Yeah.
Dominoes and stuff.
Dominoes. And on top of that as well, were they even aware you were there, that you said hello?
Yeah.
And it's just about doing the simple things of fact finding in these situations and not letting your mind race. And obviously it works on much, much bigger things, and I think it might help a few people, and hopefully that does. But fact finding's physically sit back and say, okay, this is what I physically know this to be true. So if I can, and if that's the case, then the other part is it's not true. It's just my mind telling me it could be true.
Yeah.
And that's really important to know the difference of what is true and what's not, what your mind's filling blanks in is.
Which it will do.
Yeah, well, of course it is. It's normal.
Yeah.
But I think it's important that in situations people can take themselves out of that and say, actually, that's not true because I don't physically know that. It's just a case of I'm assuming. And fact finding takes you away from that because assumptions aren't fact.
So is it sort of a mindset to always, like when you have that kind of pause and you think something is a certain way, is it to then just sit back and go, right, well, what are the facts? Is that kind of what you're getting at?
So the example I can give is that, like one for me is police cars. Is that if I'm driving along and I've got a police car behind me, I'm like, oh God, they're going to pull me over. Oh, I've obviously done this wrong, I've done that wrong, or something like that, and then it never ever happens. It's just my mind will go 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's physically going, right, he's just been behind me, he's not put his lights on, he's not put the sirens on, and then physically going, I'm going the right speed limit, there's nothing wrong with my car, I've paid my insurance, I pay the road tax, so it's physically fact finding. It's saying, okay, as opposed to, oh God, there's a police car behind me. It's going, I've not done anything wrong. My car's up to date. I'm driving the correct speed, and physically looking at the facts. And oddly enough, it helps. It does. It helps quite a bit. But that's the best example I can give you. Yeah. I tried to use the pub thing. It probably failed miserably there. As the police car thing probably makes more sense.
It does, and I think that's the example you used when we were talking about Bill about it.
Yeah.
And it does totally make sense.
So, little R had a bake sale on Friday with school. Went exceptional well. She went with 2 boxes of cakes. She sold every single one of them.
Nice.
Avengers cakes as well. They had stickers all over.
I'd say where's mine, but you still got my yearbook and my picture that she drew me.
It's true, but
cake would be like stale by the time you got it to me.
But I think she had an absolute ball of a time. Then she came home and Friday, I didn't see you on Friday, did I?
No, I was at Neil's birthday next door.
Right. So what did I do on Friday? I can't remember. I think we sat and watched a family movie or something.
What was the bake sale in Ada?
I want to say school funds.
That's very generic.
We contributed. There was
Right,
cakes
okay.
made. I don't know where the money's going, but
Yeah.
the good thing is we still put it.
Yeah.
It's, in fairness, I'd said to Laura, just go buy like the cookies and put some icing or something. But Rowan ended up making them. So,
Nice.
which she was.
Funnily enough, Mum was talking about, I think Junior, Leon's wee boy, was staying at hers the other week, and I think they were going to be baking cakes, and I think she was saying for Dom's birthday, she's going to be making cupcakes for Dom and Carla, because they've got that boogie bingo thing that I spoke about that me and Gemma and Carrie have been in.
Oh, nice.
So she's going to make them cupcakes just like for the train and stuff for Dom's birthday. And I think it's when Dom's going down to do her hair. So.
Nice.
And you've had Mum's cupcakes, you know they're awesome.
Yeah, well, I was going to say cupcakes are something I can't have at the moment on keto.
Right enough, yeah.
So since January, I have managed to drop 4 stone. Long way to go still. I'm a big felly for those that don't know. But obviously 4 stone, good. On top of that, Bill and I are doing the gym together now, and that'll really. We're meant to be there tonight, but I'm kind of having a bit of the keto fatigue tonight.
Yeah.
So probably Tuesday, Wednesday we'll probably kick it in a high gear. Really grateful for Bill's support, really grateful for Brian's support in terms of the motivational quotes that he sends from Edinburgh.
Really?
Yeah. I always get a wee message for B to say keep it up, but I'm not going to lie, the last 2 months have been hard, but I know that the next 6 months are even harder in terms of what's ahead, in terms of
But you know what the goal is at the end for the wedding?
Do you know something? The wedding's a part of it. The other part, and I think if I'm being honest, is we've talked about this, is that I'm 41. I'm not
yet.
Not yet, but I'm close to 41.
In May.
And I'm a big guy, and realistically, I'm going to end up with health issues if I continue on the path. I'm very lucky in the sense I don't have any health issues right now, apart from being a big guy. Bloods are okay, blood pressure's okay, everything. Like physically, I'm a fucking ox. Apparently, I'm just big, and I think the realistic thing is that I'd like to get to a place where I know I'm getting there mental health wise, which is a big win.
Yeah.
But to also get to a place where I can keep things going and I'm not stress eating, because I was stress eating since I was in my early 20s due to my situation, and I used food as a comfort, and now I'm learning not to do that, and it's taken a bit of time, but I've got to realise as well that I need to take some big swings, and I think hopefully when we get to September and we get to October, November, December, like that I'm still on this path. I mean, a big thing as well is my daughter S, she's 18 this year. Like my son L is 17, and you know this, I love them both so much. Like I love them 3000. Like they are on my mind every single day. I do not. Basically, I think about them every single day, multiple times. They're on my mind. I miss them hugely, and I want to be in a place that, when they're ready, that I'm there, so that they know they've got their dad, and their dad loves them and supports them. And I'm just basically waiting for them at this point. And I need to be there for that when that happens, and because I love them, and I think that ultimately this is part of the wedding, to get back in a boxing ring and get my head knocked off. It's also about wanting to live another 30 or 40 years. I want to see little R have kids. I want to see S and L grow up. I want to see them become adult. I've missed the teenage years. I was there for all the childhood. I want to miss the teenage. I want to be there when they become parents. I want to be there that they know they've got a dad that's waiting to support them, that loves them, has missed them. And little R, that's my world, and she's 7, and I want to make sure that I see her do all those things as well. So I think realistically 4 stone, long way to go, but I think
it's a start.
The start, and with you and Bill and Brian and the others, I think.
Also they too.
Yeah,
they're doing a lot more of the heavy lifting than I am.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but Bill's a beast when it comes to the gym. So to be fair, he lost a good bit of weight last year. I was really impressed with how well, when you think of Bill when we met him in January to where he was in the sort of June time. The thing is, I can't push myself to like he has. I'm going to be a lot of weightlifting, which I can lift weights quite easily.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be a lot of low-end cardio to start with, till I can physically get up to things. But I'm never going to be a marathon runner. I'm going to be sort of more strength and reasonable stamina. So gone are the days where I used to run around a football field.
Yeah.
As much as I'd love that, that's not going to happen. But I quite happily go into a ring for 3 rounds and have somebody punch me.
Yeah.
That I can take. As the great Louis Zamperini once said, if you can take it, you can make it. And
see a fighter.
He was a war veteran in World War II who actually ran the fastest 400 metres in Olympic history at the time. And then he went to the war, and he was a pilot, and basically he got shot down in the Pacific, and got taken to a Japanese concentration camp, and
prisoner of war camp. They never had concentration camps.
Oh, sorry, you corrected me there, but basically met a Japanese torturer who took a shine to Louis and basically tortured him every single day, had him just put him through hell, and Louis made it through and ended up coming back with issues. But Louis' thing was, if you can take it, you can make it, and I've always kind of lived by that since I heard it. I think in 2015 was the first time I heard about it. But amazing man, and a very inspiring story, Louis Zamperini.
Nice. Here's that word again.
Nice, yeah. Oh, you got to love a good story. And on top of that as well is, I think that we all have things that we go through, but it's realising as well that hell, people have gone through as dark as things get. Some people have gone through, and they look at how they are, and if you can come through something exceptionally dark and still be a good person, it says a lot about your character. I think, me personally, that's the way I look at it.
Same, and I think I think probably most people have gone through really bad times or really dark times or really hard times and come out the other side.
Yeah.
Obviously, unfortunately, not everybody, but
no.
I think most people have. Funnily enough, talking about him being in the Second World War, Dad and I were talking recently about the First World War, and I think his granddad or great-granddad, so my great-granddad or great-great-granddad, and he got shot in, I think it was the Second Battle of Loos, where a dum-dum bullet, basically an old version of a hollow point, explodes on impact. And if it had been an inch either side, we wouldn't have been having that conversation.
Wow.
Basically, he got made it back to Edinburgh Castle, he was from down in Derbyshire somewhere, but he got sent to Edinburgh Castle, and the nurse that was looking after him, he ended up falling in love with. She fell in love with him, and they ended up having children. And obviously, I am the
counter-product.
Descendant of,
Yeah.
partially,
Wow.
them. So yeah, one inch either side. It's amazing how those kind of serendipitous moments
It's all about
shape who we are and
Yeah.
the conversations we have. And
It is all about the inches.
what a horrible way to end a great story.
No,
You can that bit's getting cut out.
you got to keep that. It's but I agree with you. When it's serendipitous, I thoroughly believe that one decision tonight can affect something a week or 2 months down the line.
Yeah.
By choosing to, when I drop you off tonight, by choosing to go left instead of right, I could end up in a car accident, or I could end up not in a car accident. And
Yeah.
it's the same as when it comes to that kind of situation. As if that hadn't happened, as you said, there's a whole bloodline that wouldn't exist.
Yeah. And people's lives would be drastically different to what they are, based on if a guy had shifted his shoulder half an inch to one side, could have killed him. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah.
Anyone listening would not be listening because it wouldn't exist.
Yep.
And yeah, it's
Or
the
I'd have
smallest,
Josephine.
the smallest, eh?
Or I'd have Josephine on with me, one of the two.
I'm sure she'd be great. But the smallest margins dictate, I mean, the conversations we have, the people we know, and yeah, we should all be very lucky that we were the ones that became alive.
I'm going to go back to the, there's what is it, 1 million sperm or something that comes out.
Well, that was kind of what I was thinking when I was talking about that.
And
The ones that became alive.
Somehow the obese, depressed me made it against all the doctors and all the athletes. It's because you're not telling me in that DNA there wasn't a much better version. Not that there's anything wrong, but at the end of the day, there's.
Yeah, I mean, I say, we're the lucky ones.
Somehow, on that day, we were the 100-to-1 odd winner.
At least.
And
I mean, I think
we beat the favourites.
I think the odds are quite significantly more than that.
Yeah, it's somehow they were on an off day, and it was
we won the race.
we won the
Kind
race.
of bored talking about races, but yeah, we won that particular one, and well, that's why we're having this conversation right now.
It is. My brain's just not engaged tonight,
Nah.
like it normally is. It's just normally it's like an ADHD, 100 million things, chasing cars, hey, doesn't know which car it wants to get in. Tonight it's blocked.
Done.
It's done. I'm sitting here no.
To be fair, that was me last time when we done episode 2. Until I got into my stride a wee bit eventually. But when we first got up here that Sunday, as I said, in the afternoon, I was sitting talking to Leon in Mum's living room. I was yawning my head off. I was absolutely exhausted.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that's pretty much where you are this evening.
Yeah, I just got that keto brain on. It's just. Aye. Hopefully it's gone by tomorrow because at work. Obviously, Laura and I, with little R, did lambing today up at Ring Farm.
Nice.
It was actually awesome. Paul was there, Danny, and Danny helped give birth to 2 baby lambs while we were there too.
Aye.
Yeah, man just got his hand right in there. It was but it was such a great experience, and actually the little lamb is so cute. As Danny pointed out to us, though, he's like, yeah, no, they don't stay cute for very long. Become quite stubborn. Like,
Really?
aye, yeah. But it was fun. We had a great time, and anyone that wants to do it, I definitely recommend going to. Well, it's available Ring Farm in Cooper to do some lambing.
See, talking about like lambs and sheep, I remember mine when we were at Virgin. We used to do loads of charity events throughout the year, and we would always do a big one in the summer. So the first one after I joined, late 2010. So the first one was the skydive, in 2011, and in 2012 we did whitewater rafting, and then it was rock climbing, I think, in 2013, canyoning in 2014, and in 2015, the last one that I was there for, well, the last one I guess in total, because obviously it closed down early 2016, was we went up Ben Nevis, we got halfway before our guide said, look, with the weather the way it is, we were literally walking in clouds at one point. So we got halfway up and the guide said, look, we can't go any further. The visibility is pretty much zero. There's no way we could go any further. But the night before we went up Ben Nevis, we were at the bottom of the mountain. We were staying in the bunkhouse there. And I remember being out the front, had a lovely meal and we were having a few drinks and stuff. And that was the one and only time I've ever tried Cullen skink.
Yeah.
Oh, it was gorgeous. Barry had it, Heather's Barry, Bungie. He had it and he was telling me about it and I'd never heard of it before. I think I'd maybe heard the words but I'd never actually tried it. So he ended up giving me half of his and I thought it was absolutely beautiful.
Nice.
But later on, I was outside out the front having a smoke and I heard this noise and it sounded like something was in distress anyway. So I went round the corner and it was this wee lamb or wee sheep. It had got its head caught in a fence. So of course I went to go and try and help it. My foot went into a burn, utterly soaking my foot, and then as soon as I got close enough to help this sheep, it wriggled out and buggered off. It was taking the piss out of me. I told the guys when I went back in, they were all pissing themselves laughing. And they just got done up like a kipper by a sheep.
You did. That's brilliant. I was actually thinking about how you were saying about the hill and stuff. Like, what's your go-to place? Like, mine's is obviously Falkland Hill. And
same, to be honest. I've always loved it up there. I remember when I was living down south and I'd come back up for, I can't remember what it was, whether it was somebody's engagement. I think it was maybe Neil and Louisa's engagement party.
Yeah.
And on the Sunday, I think I was flying back down on the Monday, and Neil had said, like, come pick you up, we'll go out for a drive, and where do you want to go? And I instantly said Falkland Hill. I love it up there.
Yeah. I go up there when everything gets a bit too much. It's nice just to get up and out of the way.
Yeah.
But we've done meteor showers and stuff up there.
Well, we tried. We didn't see much.
Yeah, it was a bit cloudy.
Yeah.
But there was another thing we did up there.
We took Cookie and Tara up, did we not?
Yeah, but there was not another planetary thing that was going on. It wasn't a meteor shower, was it not? Planets or something like that? I can't remember. I know there's twice we've gone up to...
I think you went up with Sarah that time.
Did I?
Yeah, we went up for was meant to be the meteor shower, but...
Me and you have done 2 planetary things up on the hill. Yeah. 2 of them. But, yeah, it's a go-to place to get away from it. Quietness. Look down.
Definitely, yeah.
Take yourself outside the box and look down on all the chaos and go,
yeah.
Right, I've got 5 minutes.
I love it up there. It's definitely one of my favourite places.
I did Christmas Day there, 2019.
Huh?
Yeah, walked all the way up the hill with the dog, back when I could do that. And
which dog, Lady?
Lady. I got a photo of Lady that day. Literally screamed at the top of my lungs, and then about 10 or 50 minutes later, suddenly all these people started showing up on Christmas Day on the Falkland Hill. It was so nice. Some of the most amazing people I met that day. Not how I ever thought I'd spend a Christmas Day, but I did. Obviously, Laura was with her family. It was my first Christmas without SNL.
Yeah.
I did speak to him that day, but yeah, it was a different type of Christmas Day. And it was again another reason why I kind of love that place is that it has a really good memory there. Meeting all these people, talking away to them, and it just turns out that people like to walk up the hill on Christmas Day.
I remember Craig was over from Australia a few years ago, and he said he went out walking. I don't think he went up the hill, but he went out walking on Christmas Day. He said there was quite a lot of people that were out for a walk on Christmas Day.
I suppose it's that of you make Christmas what you want, like, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's not. What should probably be the worst Christmas in my entire life is it's not actually as crap as it was not to be with SNL for the first time ever at Christmas.
Yeah.
It was different, but it wasn't. I wasn't sitting in a dark corner on my own. Does that make sense? I could have had a really crap day, but I didn't. And yeah, like I actually grateful for that day. The fact it was a nice day, the fact the people I met, the fact that when I went home, sat and chilled with one of my pals, and it was different. But yeah, like me and Laura were obviously together at that point, but just I was even invited up to the family to do that at Christmas, but just didn't really. I thought it was maybe better to. I knew what I wanted to do that day. I had my sights set on walking up that hill on Christmas Day.
Right.
Didn't realise other people would be there.
Yeah. Funnily enough, me and Mum were talking about this yesterday when we were up in Dundee about Christmas days, and remembered the one where I was down in Hampshire. It was 2007. My stepsister Samantha and her boyfriend at the time were running a hotel down in Hampshire in Hook, and we went down, like me, Dad and Angela and Jodie. We had like a family Christmas there. Sammy's boyfriend at the time was a chef, so he did one of those bird and a bird and a bird and a bird. There was about 7 birds within each other, but the reason
seven bird roast.
Yeah, the reason we were talking about it yesterday is Mum had she was talking about this Christmas that me and Leon were absolutely hanging out with arse. We'd beat the sticks the night before on Christmas Eve, and we were just sat and hanging out with arse. And it was the same that time down in Hampshire. Like because obviously Sammy and her boyfriend ran the hotel and the pub. When the sort of hunters had left, we just stayed up and had a few pints on Christmas Eve and was fanning about, and come Christmas Day I was absolutely hanging. During or between courses I had to go back to my room and have a bit of a tactical chunder in my toilet. I was hanging. I was really hanging out my arse. And yeah, Mum had mentioned that time me and Leon were as well, and it reminded me of that one in Hampshire. But I remember I was telling her about they had this dog, George, I'm sure he was called, a big ass dog, a cane corso, bigger than me, and almost. And like honestly, when he used to jump up on you and put his paws on your shoulders, he would be taller than me. He'd probably be taller than you if he did it to you even.
Wow.
But he was huge. He was like half a horse. And I remember we went out on a walk, all of us, and I was holding his lead for a bit. And halfway down the road, I had to go to my dad. I was like, could you take his lead? Because he was obviously a lot stronger than I was. He was like, yeah, you're going to meet I can't hold him. He's that big and powerful that, he needs someone else, needs you to hold him.
That's fair enough. So, I was going to say, this week then, or this episode, what song are you recommending to our lovely viewers?
listeners.
But listen, I apologise. I'm used to us making movies.
I know, you always go with the filming and the viewers kind
As
of...
opposed to recorded and listeners.
Yeah. Well, as I kind of touched on earlier on, not while we were recording, so you wouldn't have heard it. I'd almost forgotten. I was thinking about it during the week. And to be fair, I would just go with a Sigrid or a Griff song every time if I didn't want to change it up a little bit. But I am going to, and I'm going to go with a song by Maisie Peters and James Bay, who Leon and Dom actually went to see the other week in Newcastle, called Funeral. Now, it does have a slightly morbid title, but it is a lovely song, and it's a love song, basically. And yeah, I really like it, so give it a wee listen.
Nice.
What's your film?
I'm going to go with Trial by Fire with Laura Dern and Jack O'Connell. It is a more recent movie, but basically, guy in prison, facing the death penalty, and his house is burned down, and unfortunately his children are killed in that fire, and he's accused of causing that fire, and she's representing him. Honestly, it'll break you in two. It is on Amazon Prime, so you can watch it if you've got Prime. And I think it's a movie that a lot of people would watch and say would recommend to other people. Yeah. It seemed to have kind of flied under the radar a little bit, kind of like Frailty that we talked about the other time. So give Trial by Fire, Jack O'Connell and Laura Dern on Amazon Prime a wee go.
And if that breaks you, then listen to Funeral by Maisie Peters and James Bay afterwards to lift your spirits a wee bit.
Yeah. So one of the things, just before we go though as well, we just need to thank Pinkertons again tonight, because as you can hear, we're here filming. Recording.
I seen you look there.
And obviously, again, apologies for using the word obviously too much, but obviously it wouldn't be possible to record with such ambience without Pinkertons and the great bar staff, which on tonight is Lindsay, Scotland's best barmaid. So
yep.
Obviously come to Pinky's, do the pub quiz, join the Murdogs, or come in on a Friday, Saturday, Monday.
It was ran last night, right? We came up for one last night.
Yeah.
After you'd been down at mine and we had work all with Cheryl, we came up here for one, and it was jam packed.
It was
really busy.
Yeah.
Still plenty of room to manoeuvre, but it wasn't like crammed like back in the day. Clubs you used to go to in Edinburgh, I used to hate that. Being in a club that was so busy, you just could barely move.
Yeah.
I really hated that.
Yeah, I think, I've never been at a point where I came in here and I thought, it's like uncomfortable.
Yeah, never.
There's points where I've not been able to get a seat, but then it's
true.
the summer and we've not
had to wait too long.
We just went into the beer garden.
Right enough.
So, and it's the summer, so we're fine. To be fair, we were in the beer garden all the way up to November, to be fair at points. It was still...
Pretty much, yeah.
But, obviously thanks to those guys, and I think episode 3's in the can, and kind of just to let you guys know that we probably will do episode 4, just me and Andy again, on our own. But from episode 5, we are hopefully going to start having guests here or there.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Crossed.
If people are up for it.
Yeah,
obviously we spoke to Graham and we were at his last week, and he seems to be
up for it. So
yeah.
The owner of the Kino Cinema in Glenrothes will be a guest at some point. He has agreed to that, and there's a couple.
Yeah, he said he was up for thinking about it.
No, he did say he did it.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
No, he said that he would definitely do it.
Right.
So, and there's a couple others on the wish list. So,
well, we do know a lot of interesting people, thankfully.
We do. So, watch this space, and thank you for joining episode 3 with Aaron and
myself,
Josephine.